Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I would like to say to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given me this chance to present my thesis. And then I would like to say thank you for my first supervisor, Ma'am Hidayati, and then my second supervisor, Sir Robi Soma, and also for the examiner, Ma'am Nelly Arif, and then for the second examiner, Ma'am Nunung Fajariani, and the third examiner is Sir Muklas Abrar, who have taken the time to see my thesis presentation today. Well, I would like to present my thesis. The title is about English students' perception of online learning in speaking class at Jambi University. I took this topic because 3 years ago, I learned speaking in a class by practicing speaking directly in front of the class, one by one, and telling the topic given by the lecturer. Because of the impact of coronavirus at this time, all students study with online learning from their houses. Because of the change in learning methods, students naturally have their own perception about this. In response to this statement, I'm interested to finding out English students' perception of online learning in speaking class at Jambi University. And next, about research questions. Based on the background mentions, my research question is how were the English students' perception of online learning in speaking class at Jambi University. And then for my purpose of the study, this research investigated how English students' perception of online learning in speaking class at Jambi University. For significance of the study, I have two. The first one is for the researcher, and then for the lecturer. For other researcher, to help them uncover critical areas in the educational process, such as online learning in speaking class, and to add new knowledge about the students' perception of online learning. And for lecturer, this research was accepted to give further information about students' perception of their language of their online learning in speaking class. And next, for limitation of the study, 3 classes of the second semester students who took the speaking subject in English department of the teacher training faculty of Jambi University. And next, my previous study, there are some research and journal article related to this research topic. The first one is the perception of students toward online learning at a Midwestern university. What are students telling us and what are we doing about it? By John Haas and Shannon Estep, 2013. And then the second is students' perception of online learning, quality, given comfort, motivation, satisfaction, and experience by Michael Rodriguez and Oms and Marcel Montanes, 2008. And the last is students' attitudes and perception toward the effectiveness of mobile learning by Dr. Fahad, 2009. And next, for my chapter 3, research methodology, research design, study used a mixed method, quantitative and qualitative design. The quantitative method was used to analyze the result from the questionnaire in this research, and then the qualitative method was used to analyze the result from the interview section in this research. For population and sample, the population of this study were second semester students who contracted a speaking course. I took 3 classes as participants for sampling from second semester students who contracted a speaking course with different lecturers. It is because I want to see the different perception of the students, because every lecturer have their ways to teach their students, and of course they have different media to study. There were 52 respondents involved from 3 classes, and for interview, 6 participants were selected based on different class, consists of 3 females and 3 males. The sample was chosen randomly by their availability. Next, for techniques of data collection, I distributed questionnaires online using Google Form media consisting of 15 close-ended questions with the Likert scale. The questionnaire adapted from Dr. Fahad, 2009, and adopted it until the questionnaire fulfilled the result to be achieved the research questions. Using the interviewee is the best way to collect data during the COVID-19 virus. The interview recordings were transcribed and analyzed. And next, the technique of data analysis. Activities in analyzing this data include data reduction, data display, and conclusion drawing or verification by Miles and Haberman, 1994. First, For data reduction, I transcribe the data interview and then next summarize the interview data by selecting the answer that corresponds to how many percent of the questions are. And then for data display, after getting a summary of the interview data, I display the result of the data on each appropriate questions. And the last is I made a conclusion or verification based on the interview data that had been displayed. And for reliability, the data obtained is analyzed with specific techniques. The result of the analysis can be used to predict instruments' reliability. The reliability test in this research was tested for other students who did not fill out the next questionnaire. A reliability questionnaire distributed to 29 participants who were randomly selected. The questionnaires can be said to be reliable if a Cronbach alpha value is less than 0.60. In this research, the reliability statistics section seen the value of Cronbach alpha 0.826, which means that the questionnaire is reliable. And next, for my chapter 4 is about finding and discussion. I have 3 aspects in finding and discussion. These 3 aspects are used to see students' perception of online speaking material. The first one is student-teacher interaction in online learning, and then strength and weakness of online learning, and the last is media in online learning, online speaking material. First, students-teacher interaction in online learning. According to these statements, most students disagree if written instruction is an effective way for online learning in speaking class, but they agree if video or audio instruction become an effective way for online learning in speaking class. I related this argument with Chan 2010. Students believe that student videos help them with their learning and can hold their attention. Video instruction are generally the most preferred method of learning as compared to other online learning media. From the third statement and fourth statement, I conclude that students like to ask questions with lecture in online. They want interaction with the lecturer while giving the instruction for speaking class, but lecturers are not quick to respond to students' questions. Delayed communication is one weakness of online learning reported by many researchers. The statement by Howland and Moore 2002. According to the findings, I conclude most students agree with interaction in online learning with the lecturer. From the 4 statements, I related the data with the theory from Anderson 2008. The vastness of communication and interaction capability that the internet provides is the most significant affordance for education. 6 categories of educational interaction by Anderson involve students-teacher interaction. Is interaction using synchronous communication such as audio, text, and video. Referring to that theory, online interaction does not prevent lecturers from giving instruction in online learning materials because instruction can be given using written, video, or audio. But in fact, most of the students prefer video instruction. This is justified because the researcher got some opinions from students who prefer video instruction. For the instruction more easily understood by students, the lecturer is expected to provide instruction in the form of text and video or audio. If there is something that is not understood by the students have room to ask questions, and the lecturer is expected to respond quickly to the questions. And next, for second part is strength and weakness of online learning. Most of students argue for the lack of positive impact of online learning in speaking class. They agree that speaking lessons are good to be applied in class, not online. Students have difficulty when discussing with other friends with online. This problem causes online speaking learning does not motivate them, so this online learning impossible to apply because they feel that online learning in speaking class does not bring new opportunities or experiences. Students agree if they speak in front of other students, it will improve their self-confidence and also motivate them to be more good in public speaking. As Mayer 2003 states, when students are motivated to learn, they try harder to understand the material and thoroughly learn more deeply, resulting in better ability to transfer what they have learned to new situations. And next, for third part is about media in online speaking material. Most students students agree Edmodo interesting to use. There is nothing wrong with using existing technology during this pandemic. Edmodo can be used as an online learning media, and I related the data with the theory from the expert. Edmodo is a safe social networking community that provides an educational microblogging environment for teachers and learners. Also, it can be seen as a multi-platform learning management system which can facilitate educators to set up and manage their online classes easily. By Witherspoon, 2011. According to the result of the data, many students agree with learning speaking in a class rather than online because it can increase self-confidence and increase more knowledge by seeing other friends speak in front of class. Their self-confidence and also motivate them to be more good in public speaking. And then the data which the obtained also were supported by the theory from Leonardo Paulos, 2010, found that the respondents had a positive and valuable learning experience. These two ways helped them to run the video creation process easier. And Anderson, 2004, states, in the benefits and ease of online learning involve safe student labor with making a point before they shoot the video. This is to make it easier for them not to record video repeatedly. In this way, they can be more carefully in making the video before sending it to the lecturer. I related the data with the theory from Howland and Moore, 2002. The students often reported that the message board posting was ineffective and they were disappointed in the level and quality of communication. So it can be explained that discussion through WhatsApp is not effective because most students are not actively discussing in the WhatsApp group. They participate only for some reason but do not know more deeply what the lecture means in the message about. And the last statement is, speaking via voice note, WhatsApp is more interesting to apply. They like it because some of them lack confidence in seeing themselves on camera. Whenever students have a goal, there is something to achieve. The motivation can affect one's learning efficiency deeply. Using what kind of methodology in our English teaching can arouse our students' motivation for learning is very important. By Liu, 2010. And next for discussion, most students disagree with the existence of online learning in the speaking class because many things cannot be achieved with online learning in the speaking class. Learning in the speaking class cannot increase students' self-confidence and improve good public speaking for students. As for the lecture steps in taking ways to make speaking lessons interesting with various kinds of media, even they cannot give all students a sense of comfort because they have their own opinions about it. And next for my chapter 5 is about conclusion and suggestion. For my conclusion, according to the research findings and discussion of this study, I conclude that for student-teacher interaction and online learning, most students like the instruction given by the lecturer using video or audio rather than in writing. Students also like to interact or ask directly with the lecturer if there are problems that are less understood than having to wait for other friends to ask questions. However, some students complain about lectures delay in answering the questions, and this can be called the lack of communication from Howland and Moore study 2002. And then the second, strength and weakness of online learning. Based on the result of the research, I also find some weakness from online learning in speaking class. There is no strength of online learning for speaking class, but there are some weakness in online learning for speaking class, including students not being able to discuss with other friends in online freely. Besides that, they are also not sure that online learning in speaking class will bring a lot of experiences with various kinds of media. They believe that speaking directly in the class will give them a lot of experiences. And next for media in online learning, based on the research, based on my description and analysis in the previous chapter, I conclude that most students enjoy learning online in speaking class using WhatsApp. This statement was supported by the interview section with the students of speaking subjects and provided some answer as follows. By student 2, when learning online, I don't like it, but I prefer WhatsApp because it is not complicated. It can be one application with our daily needs. They just like it, not necessarily effective, because this is only their opinion about online learning in the speaking class with different or with various media. And next, for my suggestion, based on the conclusion that I said before, I have a suggestion as following. The first one is for the lecturer. From this study, the lecturer will know the students' perceptions toward online learning and speaking class, and by knowing this problem, the lecturer can strategize and choose the appropriate media that can be applied for online learning and speaking class. The teacher should motivate the student to be motivated to use different media with different lecture. And then next, for the other researcher, the study suggests for the other researcher to only focus on one media to know one medium to know better whether the media is effective or not used for online learning media in the speaking class. This study will help them to improve their study and also for their reference in their research, and gives academic information for future research, especially in online learning and speaking class. I think that's all from my presentation, and I say sorry if there are many deficiencies or error in my explanation, and I say thank you for my supervisor and also for my examiner, and I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.